Prova, sa. Hi there. If you're watching this, it's because you are part of my newsletter, the Phàros Lab Dispatch. I wanted to create this video as a way to step out of the usual fast-paced digital world and create a slower, more personal space just for us. I don't want to be like a polished presentation or like a ready-made script. I just want to talk to you about why I started Phàros Lab, where I come from, and how I see the work we can do together. This is like the first video. It's like about an introduction to my work, to me, to myself, and to Phàros Lab. But then in the future, this series of videos will touch different topics. Just a small note before we start. I'm shooting this in probably one go because I want it to be as natural as possible. So I do have some notes in front of me just to make sure I don't lose my train of thoughts. Just like to be completely honest here. But otherwise, this is just a direct conversation between us two. This video is basically an introduction of Phàros Lab, as I mentioned, and to understand Phàros Lab, you have to know where I started and how it was founded. I'm from a small town in the south of Italy, in the region called Basilicata. My hometown is famous for the poet Horatius, I think that's the pronunciation in English, that wrote the Carpe Diem. It's also famous because it was a Roman colony during the empire, and there is a very good wine, very good food, and it's in the region with there is like a former volcano, and so the soil is very particular. Anyway, I moved to Milan for university, and then during my third year I did an Erasmus year in Lithuania, in Vilnius. I know it's an unusual choice, but at that time I wanted to focus on my English and to go in a place that was a little bit cheaper than the UK, basically. I wanted a different future, I wanted to travel, I wanted to live abroad, so I basically escaped as fast as I could. I wanted to see, different parts of the world. So that's why I stayed. After the Erasmus, I came back to Milan just to finish my exams, and then I found a job in Vilnius. My first real steps in the professional world were there. I worked as a campaign manager, and my role was double. I was creating campaigns, managing campaigns and reporting them, but I was also working in the technical support, answering phones, managing tickets. It was a very practical work. Looking back, that's where I really learned how to talk to people, both via email and on the phone, and like and also like face to face. And especially how to listen to their frustrations and how to solve problems one by one. It wasn't about strategy yet. It was more about the human side of the technology, if I might say. After a while, I was ready for a bigger step. I was tired of the cold, and I wanted to see how far I could go in a more competitive environment, and that's what brought me to Switzerland. You might think that's still cold, yeah, but much warmer than Lithuania, trust me. In Switzerland, I spent my first 5 years in a top media agency, the best one at the moment, at the time and at the moment as well. That was my boot camp. I learned the most advanced advertising strategies, how to manage high-level clients, how to pitch, how to talk to them, how to make presentations, and how to run complex projects, not only as an advertising manager, but also as a project manager. It was very fast and intense. Then I moved to the client side. I wanted to close the gap and like to close the circle, basically. I joined one of the biggest German e-commerce retailers, probably the number one in its sector in Europe. This was a completely different world. It was less about creative freedom of an agency and more about politics, compromises, and people management. I was juggling so many stakeholders, sales teams, designers, printers, lawyers who manage the pricing rules. I mean, there is a team just for that. Who knew? I was managing like budgets of millions, and I learned how to move a massive project forward when there are dozens of different interests involved. It was not like we are one team and we kind of help each other and we are kind of all partners. It was more like every single team inside the same company was kind of, I don't know, enemies to each other. It was I don't want to use the word enemies, but it didn't feel like one side. But not even in the media agency, it was not like us versus the client. In the media agency, it was not like this, but because the client was not the enemy, but we were a team. Sometimes the cohesion with the client was massive, was very deep, and we were one team with the client as well. But especially firstly, we were one team as a brand, as a company. In this corporate company, I didn't feel that. It was very delicate, and sometimes the work was boring. It was incredibly important education in how business actually survive and scale. I didn't know anything about the client side, so the brand side. And this specific retailer, it was also like a double role, because it was both a brand, like the client side, and was also a provider, because being a retailer, you have to deliver campaigns and projects for other brands as well. So they also treat you as a media agency, let's say, even if there is not the same knowledge inside. I felt very lost. I was the only one with strong knowledge of the work itself, and they hired me to change the game, to bring someone super knowledged. In fact, they almost accept all of my requirements when we had the interviews. But still, after the years there, I noticed that like the high powers, the powers to be always win. At least in this in this environment, at least in this case, we tried. Anyway, after all of that, I felt it was time to build something on my own. Actually, the idea was there already for a long time. But then I took the occasion, since I was working only 4 days a week, I took the occasion to use my free day, usually it was the Friday, to build something on my own, to create my own brand identity. I didn't want to be like a simple freelancer, so I wanted to build like an identity, as I said, like a brand, like not Erika Berardi, I'm your freelancer for campaigns. No, I wanted to build something. So like something with meaning, with a mission, with vision, with a value, with its own language, lingo, with its own symbols, images, colors, like a brand identity, basically, that one day can also go further than me. So it doesn't have to be only Erika. I'm dreaming too big, but yeah, dream big, start small. So I started with the name, of course, and I mean with a mission and a vision, obviously, that brought me to a name, which is Phàros Lab. I have a strong connection with the ocean and with the sea. I'm a free diver as well in my private life. I like sailing, and this is like a very strong part of myself and of my recent years, especially because it changed my life completely. I chose the name Phàros because it comes from an Asian Greek name. I'm also like a sucker for Asian stuff because of my high school studies. Anyway, it's an Asian Greek name for the island where the great lighthouse of Alexandria was built. It's one of the 7 wonders of the world. And it's the root of the word faro in so many languages, for instance, in Italian, in French, in Spanish. Pharos means lighthouse. I don't see myself as a business architect. I see myself as a lighthouse, like a guide for my customers, for my clients, for my partners. My job is to be exactly this for my clients, helping them to navigate through a digital sea that is often wavy and chaotic. I want to put light on the dark areas of their strategy, their branding, and show them the real potential they might not have discovered yet. The lab part, the second part of the name, represents my method. A laboratory, so lab stands for laboratory, is scientific, so it's about criteria and method, but it's also creative, artistic. I'm not a professional designer, I'm not an artist, but I've studied it. I did like many courses and I have like professional certifications, and I know how to think outside the box. I'm also very transparent. So sometimes I work with a network of trusted partners like fellow colleagues, for instance, data analysis or graphic designers when a project needs them. I always manage the project as a first person, but I believe in bringing in the right expertise for the best result, and it is always communicated to the client in advance. If the client accepts it, then we can move forward. We can also move forward with having contacts with these people or not. It depends on the complexity of the project. So, what does this look like in practice? I explained you briefly where I come from, my studies, my work experience, why I chose the name of Pharos, my mission and my vision, and now I'm explaining you what I do practically and what we can do practically together. I'm creating a mix of free resources for this community and some premium services as well, for those who need a little bit more a direct hand. I'm currently building a landing page with all of them, available only for my community, my subscribers, you included. And as part of these free resources, this YouTube series is also included. So I have the digital products part, which are the free resources and paid resources as well. Once I complete the landing page, you will find it in the description, or you will probably find it on one of my email in the newsletter. But a part of this, my core work is divided in 3 main areas. First one is the Brand Compass consultancy, which you probably know it already because that's how you came here from my free Brand Compass roadmap. This is very useful for small business owners, creators, and startups. We look together at your identity, at your brand identity, at your communication style, at your languages, tone of voice, colors, everything that makes your identity, to make sure that you have a grounded strategy before you spend a cent on ads or sponsorships or collaborations. Then I support also the paid marketing strategy in case you need it, in case you want it. And then we launch the first project together. After that, you can decide if you need me as a consultant or go on your own way by yourself. There is no strict structure. We can customize it case by case. We can have like a one-time consultancy, or we can have a long-term partnership on this if you need more support. That it depends, of course, on the complexity of the project, on your own knowledge, and also on my free resources. Then the second service is the Lighthouse Audit. This is for those brands who already have a system. Maybe you're working already with a freelancer or with a media agency or agency in general, but you don't fully understand the results or you're not satisfied with the strategy. I run like a deep check of the setup, the data, the strategy, and I tell you exactly what makes sense with a complete, full and professional audit. The third service is the Phàros Bridge. This is for those companies who are going through a transition or a big project and they need support. Maybe you need someone to supervise a complex process, manage external stakeholders, or run educational workshops to upgrade your team's knowledge. Or probably you just need an external consultant, an expert hand to help you in a short or long term. I act as a bridge that connects the expertise and execution. This video is part of a series that I will be sharing only with you here in the newsletter. I'm not sure yet if I will open it. For the moment, no, but who knows in the future. I hope it helps you understand the person behind the screen, and I hope it can build like a bridge between us, putting light on my person and on my work. You can contact me anytime, you can comment under the video, you have my email, you have my Instagram, you have every way of contacting me. Feel free and I will come back to you as soon as I can. I'm glad that you are here. Thanks for your trust and your attention, and I'm looking forward to helping you find your own North Star. By working directly or indirectly, I hope that my expertise and my knowledge will help you with your business. That's it for now. I'll talk to you soon in the next video or in the next newsletter. Ciao!